Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hateful Eight podcast. I'm Dylan Lamp, your host. Today, I'm joined by Brandon. How's it going, Brandon?
Good, good. How's it going?
And I'm joined by my other faithful co-host, Mick Hoyle. How's it going, Mick?
Going good. Glad to be back on the pod after a little week hiatus. And real quick, just want to, think it's important to start off the pod with just a quick RIP, Marshawn Deland. Really tragic news to hit the NFL. And it's just like, I feel like you can't talk about the NFL without talking about that. So just, uh, super sad story. Praying for his family and everything. But yeah, we're all thinking about him as we're doing the pod today.
Of course, yeah, I know. Extremely sad story. Hope his family can recover. Uh, but to quickly talk about, we have a lot to talk about this week. As Mick said, we had our hiatus. And so we're going to quickly go over some of the games that we thought were the biggest that happened through week 9 and 10. Starting off, Mick, I'll let you take it away on me and your week 9 game.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, that was an unbelievable game. Finishing with the final score of 203, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the record for the 10-team league
Yeah,
on my end, to 147. Look, I it was one of those weeks where I was just like, I had some confidence going into it. I knew it was going to be a good matchup, right? This is a top of division matchup. Dylan and I's teams are both coming into the game pretty hot and everything.
mm,
And it's not like Dylan's team had a bad week. 147 is a good week.
I would have
Respectable.
beat
Probably.
everyone
I was gonna
else.
say, I think you would have won every single matchup this
Yep.
week. Except you ran into I think this is the first Caleb Williams start I've had all year. He's been riding my bench and he drops 39 points for me.
Dude, it killed
Uh
me.
Another gorgeous 34 from McCaffrey, but that's, not to be expected, but like he's certainly capable of that. But just the truly unbelievable performance that was Brock Bowers' 43 points, 12 catches, 127 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I don't know if you guys are watching that game. Brock Bowers looked like the best tight end of all time in that game. Just like was making ridiculous plays.
Dude, it's just
Like
the fucking dog shit Jaguars defense against tight ends. The Jaguars, I promise you, like if there's a tight end playing the Jaguars, whoever or fucking if anyone wants to pick up Aronde Gadsden or whatever the fuck,
he's on
um,
my team. Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah, I promise you, he's about to drop 50. Dude,
Awesome.
the Jaguars are so fucking dog shit when it comes to picking up tight ends on the opposing team. I'm like terrified. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't. Yeah, it was
Just
awful.
a gorgeous Brock Bowers performance. I mean, he looked awesome. That he had that like 50-yard touchdown, and yeah, I mean, 43 fantasy points is also just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, look, it was one of those weeks. Seems like everybody on my team had a game. And yeah, man, I was riding high off that week. And as we'll get to, boy, did I crash down to earth.
Yeah. So I want to quickly talk about another game, week 9, Alex versus Will. When it happened week 9, people were clowning it a little because two teams towards the bottom of the Hateful South, bottom of the standings in general. But it was a big game for both these teams that are looking to stay alive in the playoff race, right? Um, and Alex, right? Alex came on top. Pause during this game. It was a big game for Justin Herbert, Jalen Warren. The biggest contributor to this game for him was Drake London. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We had talked about it. We had talked about it. There were some deniers of Alex's team of the truth that is Chubb Club, and I feel like I was like redeemed in my faith when this game happened. Um, Mick, you were a non-believer, so do you have anything to say about Chubb Club?
Well, listen, one that was a very respectable showing from Alex that week, and I think Alex has like some good players on his team. The one person I owe an extreme apology to is Drake London. I was
Yup.
not a Drake London believer, and then he again almost dropped a 40 bomb in that game. Um, but yeah, that was definitely a big week for Chug Club. I think I would still put him out of my personal playoff picture. But I gotta credit where it's due, and that was a good solid win for owner Alex Rakowski.
Yeah. No, Alex, if you're listening, I still believe in you. I have a lot of faith, even though you only put up 110 in week 10, or 109. Still a lot of faith. You did much better than Mick. So sky's the limit, go. Um, moving on, going to talk about a game that was really, really down to the wire. Alec v. Carson. Um, 114.9 by Carson to Alex's 115.02. And this entire game came down to the fact, and Carson, if you're listening, like, this pissed me off so much. You could have put, like, literally anyone on your team and you would have won this game, but you started Travis Hunter, who was put on IR, put up 0 points. And it really
So he has
just
Darnell Mooney on his bench that put up
Darnell
two and
Mooney.
a half points,
Darnell Mooney
and
would
that
have
would have
won
been
that
enough.
game.
literally that's like what I like when I was looking at the games. I literally scrolled down to his bench. I was like, I bet there is someone on his bench that put up fucking more than 0 points, and who would have guessed? Darnell fucking Mooney. Oh, dude, I was so mad. Um, and then yeah, it came down to that Washington Seattle game where Debo
Sunday
put up.
night, yeah, Debo literally he needed to put up like almost exactly 9 points, and that's what he did. Like literally the thinnest of margins.
Killed me.
But that's what it comes down to, you know.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. Some might say. Um,
Yeah, if Josh Allen had like tripped over his shoelaces and gained 1 yard, or no, if he had tripped over his shoelaces or like taken a knee, like that would have
Right,
lost
lost
out.
half a yard. Right, right.
no,
Yeah, that
literally,
was
dude.
yeah, thinnest of margins.
Patrick Mahomes had him put up 11 points. Oh, so many things could have gone right for Carson, and they just didn't. Which I mean, we have a Carson truther in this call. Do you have anything to say about Carson's team right now?
Hey, he's not out. He's not out.
Certainly.
I mean, there's this is still like a pretty respectable. I don't know if respectable is the right word, but like all things considered, like Travis Hunter did not play. Your your other wide receivers, Khalil Shakir. You know, like when
Right,
when
and then he
he when he has Devontae, like back in the rotation and not two Bills wide receivers. He's got HN, he's got Bijan, he's got like a couple decent quarterbacks. Like this is like a at least at worst first round exit playoff team. It's just a down week for Bro, and I wouldn't really read too much into this. This is kind of again this is a clash of the first round bare minimum teams here. So I'm not reading too much into this game other than the fact that it just kind of came down to the wire, and you know Jonathan Taylor had a shitty game too.
Yeah.
So I mean, kind of an off week for both of these teams.
Well, I think that's a great segue into talking about how Carson's team they did not show their true selves in Week 9. They had a much better showing in Week 10, even though he lost. And that is due to what we can only describe as miraculous, beautiful, some might say. This Will turnaround, this Love and Thielen turnaround. Will put up 177 points in Week 10. I mean, is that not beautiful?
that was
Yeah, man.
spectacular. I would not call that miraculous. I would call that just excellent GMing. Hey, I'm a big believer in Will's team. I've made that clear. I think throughout this pod, and it was so awesome, honestly, to see his team do as well as it did. I mean, 38 from Jameer Gibbs, right? Bruce Hall chips in with 19. Lad McConkey gets you a solid 20. Nico Collins plays like the Nico Collins of the past, gets you 22. Travis Etienne, right?
I
Who's
mean,
had this
again, it was against the
crazy, weird,
Jaguars, so
up and down season.
yeah,
For Etienne, who finishes with a solid 15.7, and then a combined 29 points from his kicker and
crazy.
defense. Just like cherry on top of just like this awesome performance. I said it last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, when we had Will on the pod, that I see the future, I see the vision, and I think Will can right this ship and get it going in the right direction.
Yeah, and
Sorry, genuinely, who the fuck is Tyler Loop, bro?
how are you not the
He's
goat? There, he's their rookie, right? He's
This is the Jay Tucker
correct.
yeah,
Correct.
replacement.
yeah. He was picked up this in the
Yeah.
uh draft. Yeah, he's the goat.
Yeah,
Where's he
rookie,
from?
and he's had
Arizona.
a couple good weeks this year. Yeah, he's had a couple 13, 12-point weeks or whatever. Like, he's a solid enough kicker.
A calm
Yeah,
little pickup by Will, if I'd say so
very calm.
myself. Yeah,
And yeah, very unfortunate for Carson, honestly.
it kills me.
Very unfortunate to see, your star running back put up 40 points and
It's not
still take
nearly
the
enough.
L. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's not forget, like, this is a big win for Will, also because, Carson is starting, I know it says Jay McCarthy, but really it should say 9 because that's, his alter ego that comes out when he plays. I mean, just an absolutely like all-time stat line here. Under 50% completion percentage, 248, 1 touchdown, 2
Too bad.
picks. Like keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this guy's throwing to Justin Jefferson. It's not like he's on the Titans or anything. So, I mean, we got Mr. Hand the Ball off over here.
Dude,
Genuinely, JJ McCarthy is such a bum.
dude,
Can we talk about that?
every time I hear about how dog shit J McCarthy is doing, I like think back to when we watched the Natty against Washington. And I was like, bro, this dude ain't even it. And it was back then, and he was currently winning the Natty. Like, I don't know. I am not a McCarthy believer. Like, he's on a Vikings team that is like seemingly turned around like several quarterbacks, like whether it be Kirk Cousins or Sam Darnold, um, and yet he's like fumbling around on an a pretty like super powered um offense with Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, um,
Aaron Jones, the
Aaron
running back.
Jones as your running back. Like, I don't know how you possibly don't like overachieve in this offense, but he's found a way.
Yeah. I mean, it's not to harp on that Natty, but there was another current starter NFL quarterback in that game.
Like
Good old
peanuts.
Michael Penis. And like genuinely, we were watching that. I think we only watched like a quarter because it was such a fucking horrible game. But you could tell it was like the only thing keeping Washington going was Michael Penis, and the only thing keeping Washington in the game from Michigan's side was the fact that JJ McCarthy was just handing the ball off. Literally, like he was not throwing whatsoever. You know.
Yeah,
So shout out to the 2023 national championship. Shit was
believe
fucking
so.
ass.
Yeah,
It was 2 years ago.
yeah. No, fuck JJ McCarthy. Michael Penis is the truth. Hope the Falcons can find their shit, figure their shit out. I like always
Yeah.
like love how like the Falcons are always supposed to like be good, and they have so much like star like first round talent on the team, but they can never figure it out. I love the Falcons.
Yeah. And their main competition is the Bucks, who like the Bucks are like good, but they're not like they're stopping you from, like for a while the AFC West and like the AFC North are run by like the Bills and the Chiefs, right? It's like you got to beat the Bills and the Chiefs to get past it. It's like in the NFC South, you have to beat the Bucks, who are perennially like maybe a first round exit. You
In
know
the
what I
NFC
mean?
South, you have to get to like 500, and then you're like, safe.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Sorry. Okay.
speaking.
Moving
No.
on.
Yeah, speaking of middling teams, or and people who are backsliding. How about this numbers game team, which is on a 4-game losing streak? Lost to Audi 132 to 122 this week. And I don't. I mean, do you guys have any thoughts on where this numbers game team is going. I mean, he's been dealing with buys, and I honestly do think a lot of it is due to him struggling with like some pretty brutal bye weeks. But also, I love to just pretend like it's because it's bad GMing and John is ass. But if anyone has any thoughts,
Everyone
Yeah, I
has to
mean,
deal with the same
everyone-
bye
yeah.
weeks.
literally exactly. I mean,
Somehow, yeah, it's like you can't say John has had a bad bye week for 4 straight weeks. You know, it's like
No,
like I will say in all fairness, like John's GT's starting to kind of put it together. So like I can't put that one on John. You know, he made the trade with Mick. I know I'm bragging on you, Mick. It wasn't like the world's worst trade, but it's just like, Garrett. I'm not sure Garrett Wilson was the play there. So, his trading is working out. You can't entirely tie this up to GMing this week, but like 4-game losing streak, like and this is a team that started off like hot, red hot, like to start the season. Like there was that one shining week for John where he was at the top of the hateful north, and
oh,
he's it's basically a Super Bowl, like the season
literally
isn't
his
done in a
Super
way.
Bowl.
He's like, I'm running this fucking league, and it's like, and now here we are sitting at 5-5. So yeah, he definitely needs a bounce back week here. Pretty soon, because it's like, Adi's not really been the juggernaut we thought he was. Um, although like he's still got like the Puka St. Brown connection. So
yeah, well,
again,
that's the thing about Audie's team. This goes back to last season where Audie, if we're all forgetting, finished second in the entire league, going on this incredible playoff run. Uh, Audie's team finds a way. It just somehow, some way, that team gets wins, and I think this is one of those games where, right, it's not like Audie's team had this unbelievable week, right? 132, it's respectable, but it's definitely beatable. And he got a good matchup against a 122 John, and like just found a way to get a win. And we can all look at Audie's team and see the lack of running back depth, and maybe the quarterback injuries that he's been facing this season. And yet he's sitting at a 6-4 record. It's just Audie's team finds a way to get wins. I think I think he's just the one team you can truly never rule out based on our sample size that we have so far.
Couldn't
yeah,
agree more.
totally agree.
Speaking of life finding a way, I feel like life always finds a way to surprise you, right? And talking about surprising things is this point differential from week 9 to week 10 from Where's the Lamb Sauce? What was the point differential again, Mick?
119, no, sorry, 120 points
Holy
on the
Christ.
dot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
How does
truly
this
don't know
happen?
if that's like ever been done before. Look,
That is
I
for the
mean,
record.
yeah, it's a record of all time. And look, it happens when your tight end puts up 40 less points than he did the week before. Brock Bowers going from 43 to 3. Uh, and look, I have a lot to say about that. I don't think 43 is accurate. I don't think 3 is accurate. I think that had a lot to do with just Geno Smith being horrible at football. And some days he's gonna figure it out, and some days he's not, and he did not figure it out.
Real
Uh,
quick, do y'all remember the in the preseason when people were really talking about this Raiders team like they were the
I
truth?
thinking they were gonna beat something. It's
They-
like I was never sold on this Raiders team.
Exactly, bro.
Literally, all they did was bring on old ass Pete Carroll, who was like,
Literally.
what? It's like I'm not saying Pete Carroll's like a horrible coach, but like, what has he ever done? Like, what has Pete Carroll ever accomplished? He got to one
Won
Super
multiple
Bowl.
Super Bowls.
Who cares, dog? Like, this dude is old as fuck.
I mean,
No,
yeah,
I agree. I think he's
would-
washed. I agree. I fully agree. I do think he's washed, and I think it was like the wrong decision to
he
bring him
doesn't have a
in.
resume, but he is lost. It's like someone like bringing in Frank Beamer today. It's like, yeah, sure he did something, but the game has passed him by at this
The game is
point,
passed.
guys.
Like
Leave the game before
genuinely,
the game leaves you.
True.
yeah, yeah. Like, Beamer stepped down when it was his time, and I think I don't know. It's just like I totally agree
Yeah,
with you, man. It's
but yeah,
they
Raiders are
are
a
in a
mess.
worse they're in a worse situation than like the fucking Giants are. You know what I mean?
Oh no,
what
I
is
hear you.
what is the
Raiders
Raiders
are a mess of an org, but
what is the
I
Raiders
mean
identity?
I
The
think they're going to
reason,
start leaning into their running and defense, hopefully with GT at least going forward.
yeah, you would think so, but yeah, I just and that's why you see such like volatility, with their tight end. 'Cause it's like when your best receiver is the fucking tight end, who knows what's going to happen? You face one good defense, and all of a sudden he's got 3 points. You face the Jags and go to overtime, mind you, and he puts up what 46. Like it's.
Yeah, certainly. But
So
yeah, but not only on top of that, not only did Brock Bowers have just an atrocious game, uh, we'll touch on it a little bit more, but I can certainly start the conversation. Revisiting the trade that John and I have made, Garrett Wilson, who was supposedly healthy, uh, was 0 for 3 on targets, finished with 0 points, and then was taken out of the game and is not going to play this Thursday. I mean, to me, I don't know what you guys think about this, but to me, this just comes across as just like horrible mismanagement by the Jets.
Oh,
Garrett
they're
Wilson
such a
didn't look
mess.
healthy to me. He looked sluggish while he was out there. And right, they're saying he tweaked the same injury or whatever. I think they rushed him. And I fell for the bait of thinking he was healthy. So I got a lovely little goose egg from my wide receiver two, Garrett Wilson. On top of that, uh, both both Gadsden and Dobbs got hurt mid-game. So the two of those guys combined finished like under 6 points. Uh, yeah, injuries, uh, injuries, and then just some really weird plays from some of my guys, like Jalen Hurts, and just that absolute mess of a Packers Eagles game. Just did not rack up any fantasy points, and yeah, that's how you put up 83 points in a week. So not only did I set the record in the 10-team league, I now have the record for second lowest points in a 10-team league. Shout out to Will for holding down the bottom spot for me. But I almost put up the highest and lowest points in league history in back-to-back weeks. Truly spectacular. We'll see what happens going forward. I don't feel super confident with Garrett Wilson still injured and now Marvin Harrison having appendicitis. But yeah, we move.
yeah, as the league historian, I didn't think that a fun stat to track would be week to week point differential, but I think I might start keeping track of it just to
We just have to see
revisit this.
if anyone could
Yeah,
somehow top
just
this.
just to
Yeah.
revisit this week in the future and be like, oh, do you guys remember when Garrett Wilson was trotted out by the stupid ass Jets for some reason? Brock Bowers went from 43 points to 3 points. Like Mick was
two
relying
mid
on
yeah, two mid
on
game injuries. Yeah,
was
brutal.
relying on
Mick
Um
texts the
Rondell
group chat,
Gadsden.
I might eclipse 90 points, and then doesn't. Oh,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
that was brutal. I do want to give a really quick shout out to the guy that I went up against because we're talking about as we should be. We were talking about as little points as I put up. But Enzo has now taken the 1 seed, most points forwarded in the league. I think he's in a really good driving seat going forward. He just made a trade with Brandon that we'll talk about in just a sec. But I really like uh I I think this 157 from Enzo was or 154 or whatever was just very unfortunately wasted me. Putting up 83 points, and I think Enzo's team is one of the clear favorites moving forward, if that wasn't already the case.
I mean,
Yeah.
my personal thoughts is that he's a bitch. But that's that. Moving on, trade deadline news. We're gonna be talking about the trade deadline throughout the Hateful Eight, throughout the NFL, all that good stuff. Um, I think honestly, we got a Jets fan in the audience. I think I'd like to talk about these Jets trades, Sauce and Quinnen, and the Jets just generally moving looking to the future. Um, so first of all, quick are you guys thoughts on the Sauce trade? Because I have mine.
Well, I honestly, I if you put it in a vacuum, I actually kind of like the trades besides the Sauce one, um, for the Jets, just because it's like this season's fucking over. Let's hang it up. Which again, to Mick's point, what we were just talking about is why it's so weird. It's like, then why are we bothering putting out Garrett Wilson before he's like fully healthy? It's like we know the season's over. Like, let's stop kidding ourselves. Like, it's the fucking Jets. Your quarterback can't complete a pass. Just give up. Like, it's over. Like, right now you're battling the Giants.
Dylan,
Well,
Justin Fields is literally like the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. I can't get this through to you enough.
He's on the
Yeah.
Jets. He's on the Jets. He's on the Jets.
Genuinely, it's like it's time to start watching some college football and picking out like who you want. Like that's the situation you're in right now.
100%.
So a
Yeah.
lot of these Jets trades, I don't know the exact specifics. I don't really pay attention to the Eagles. But like, it seemed like they were trading for draft capital, which I'm a fan of. Their only good players are young, which is kind of why I'm like iffy on the Sauce thing. But I don't even know if Sauce Gardner's that good in my opinion. Um, like, he's all right, but again, it's like, should you really be trading away? Again, it's the constant, like, do you trade away someone who is at least decent for someone who might be okay in 3 years? Who knows? But I think this is a B minus trade for the Jets, all combined.
I like that. Yeah, well,
I
let's do grading the trades. By the way, for our audience, for our listeners, the trade was Sauce Gardner to the Colts for a 2026 first round and a 2027 first rounder.
Yeah, and then
overall a pretty big trade.
right, and then Quinnen Williams was traded to the Cowboys for a 2027 first round
First
pick.
rounder, and a 2026 second rounder, I believe. Question mark?
Gotcha. I just can't quite remember. I just remember the first round pick attached to it. Hey,
Yeah.
when I first saw these trades, when I saw the Jets were trading Sauce and Quinnen, my immediate gut reaction was like, "Ooh, that just like doesn't sound good for the Jets." But then I looked into it, and then I thought about it a little more, and man, I think the Jets came out really nice. Uh, 2 first round picks next year, 3 the year following, um, and it cost you Sauce. I think Sauce is a good player. I think he will be a good player for the Colts, and the Colts have a good defense, and they were looking for cornerback depth. That was kind of like the major thing that they were looking for. But I think Sauce just slots right in as a really, as a good cornerback option for them. Um, but man, it's like when you really think about the price tag on both of those players, um, it, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that seems excessive. Like, um, Quentin Williams really wasn't playing a lot for the Jets this year. Like, his snaps were pretty limited. I think he's been dealing with injuries. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't want to like totally just like say that and be true. So, but I think there's something there. There's something there to that. Um, man, when you think about the fact that like when I think about the Giants this year, right? The Giants had 2 first round picks this year. Well, we had one, and then we traded for one. And we walked out of the draft with Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter, 2 guys that I think are going to be awesome for many, many years in this league. Um, when you think about the Jets have now 5 chances in the next 2 seasons to hit those type of guys, I really like that for them. I think it's gonna be super dependent on the Jets to get those draft picks right, and I certainly don't trust the Jets to do so
100%.
because Woody Johnson is an idiot. But yeah, it's just like the more I really thought about it, I was like, wow, those really are some hefty price tags. So me personally, starting with the Sauce Gardner trade, if I were to give it a grade, I think both of these trades for the Jets are A to A plus range. Sauce to the Colts, I see as like fit wise, I think it's really good. They needed a cornerback. Um, was he worth two firsts? Only time will tell. I think it's kind of hard to say now. And because of that, I'm a bit more like B minus range for the Colts on Sauce Gardner. Um, and then it's like looking at Quentin Williams and just seeing that he's been kind of struggling to make an impact on the Jets this season. I'm closer to like a C minus D for the Cowboys. Like giving up a first for a guy that's just like struggling to produce. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the
Well,
Cowboys are another team. Sorry, not to cut you off, Dylan.
no, you're
But
okay.
one more thing. The Cowboys are another team that's like, what are we playing for? Like, what is the
100%.
point? What is the point of getting Quinn Williams again? A guy who we don't know necessarily how good he's going to be. Like, yes, you need to shore up the defense, but it's also like, what are the Cowboys at? Like 3-6, and or
Yeah,
whatever,
they're
three
they're, they're
six
free,
one.
right? They're 3-5-1.
Like,
I hear what you're saying.
you're not making the playoffs.
See, I don't
So
know. I think a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. I don't think the Cowboys are that good, but I think a lot of things haven't gone their way this year. And I think if they get a few, I think their defense sucks. Um, but if their offense manages to kind of outshoot, a couple other offenses going forwards, I could see them snagging that like seventh seed, in this expanded playoff game. Um, I think it would kind of take a miracle to get there, but not a miracle, but like I'm saying I see a path. Um, and then also I think there's this element of Quinn Williams, right? It's not like he's old, right? He's kind of in the prime of his career age wise and fit wise. Like, um, I think you can convince yourself, as the Cowboys, or as a Cowboys fan, that a guy like Quinn Williams could make, maybe if he doesn't make the immediate impact this season, it kind of shores up a position for the following season. That's just kind of me playing devil's advocate again. I'm not 100% sold on it, on this idea that I'm actively talking about right now.
Yeah.
Um, but I could see a path where the Cowboys sneak into the playoffs. And then again, it's like if you're the Cowboys, you're just hoping that you can make a playoff appearance. You're hoping to sneak into the playoffs at this point, just to say you made it. Um, so
Yeah.
a guy like Quinn Williams could help you win more games.
Yeah. So, we'll build off what you're saying. I think I'll quickly talk about Quinn Williams, then I have more thoughts about Sauce, just because he went to an AFC South team. Um, Quinn Williams, uh, I don't know if he is snaps have been limited for some reason this season, but right now working with 17 tackles and one sack. That's not what you like to see. Um, but we obviously don't know the full picture, so I won't go fully into that. Um, just on the Cowboys side, yeah, it's just like I do think at the end of the day, it is you said, um, yeah, like it's you are basically just trying to somehow sneak into the playoffs, and that's what the Cowboys have done for the past like fucking decade at this point. They're right up there with the fucking Steelers of like they always find a way to like be 9-8 and make it into the playoffs and then like go like round one. So like this is, in my opinion, this is just a dementia riddled play by Jerry Jones. I think like he like went back and like thought he was like in the golden age of the boys and like made this trade because he thought he was gonna win the Super Bowl. But I don't think this makes any sense for them to mortgage their future for Quinn Williams when they're like hoping that they can maybe get a first round exit in the playoffs. Um, so yeah, I think
Yes,
the
certainly. I hear you. Real quick, I just like clarifying. Quinn Williams was on IR this season.
Word.
He's coming off a shoulder injury. So take that into consideration. However, again, to literally counteract the exact point I just made, last season for the Jets, he played 16 games, right? Only missed one. And in those games, he had 37 tackles and 6 sacks. Those numbers are significantly reduced from even like 2023, where he had 62 total tackles, and 2022, where he had 12 total sacks. So I think the Cowboys think they could maybe get to this like 2022, 2023 version of Quinn Williams back, but if he's just coming off of IR, uh, and you're trading a first round pick,
Yeah,
uh,
it's the dementia
there's a
kicking
reason
in.
I'm on giving the graded D on the Cowboys side,
Yeah. Then moving on to the Sauce side of things. I don't like this. I love this trade. So I also I love the trade, the Quinn Williams trade for the Jets. I like the Quinn Williams trade, or the Sauce Gardner trade for the Jets, and I think that the Colts mortgaged their future a little too much. Now I think I completely understand the decision. Um, like, you were not expecting to be in this position. They do look like a genuine Super Bowl contender. Um, and so obviously you're gonna make a big swing to try to um like make that happen, and bring a Lombardi to Indianapolis, right? But I don't think you needed to give away 2 first round picks for that, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
hating heavily on it,
That's it's a steep price to pay, I
right?
think, for a team that was doing pretty well without him. It's like the only reason to make this trade is if you think like he's going to be the extra piece you need to maybe at least win like the AFC Championship. It's like, is Sauce Gardner going to realistically help the Colts win the AFC Championship and then continue to contribute at a high level and continue to help them contend for the next couple of years? It's like, I don't know. Like, again, there's a lot of like really, really good like non-quarterback talent like coming down the pipeline, from college. So it's like, is that necessarily worth it? I don't know. Again, I think this is an interesting enough trade where you can kind of like, it's a not necessarily obvious, as only time will tell, and it's not, again, not necessarily a terrible trade. Like, they are clearly trying to make a push for the playoffs and win now. So I can respect it, but again, I think this is like a decent move for the Jets. I'm not sold on it either way, I would say.
Yeah, and, I'm gonna take the Colts side on this whole thing. Even though, again, I think getting 2 first round picks for Sauce Gardner is good value for the Jets, objectively. I think they can walk out feeling pretty happy about themselves. Um, Sauce is only in his 4th year in the league. His first 2 seasons he was All Pro. Uh, like I think the Colts have gotten a really good cornerback. And sure, maybe last year he was okay, maybe not the best. Right? He didn't make this all pro appearance last season. But I think now the standard for Sauce Gardner is all pro appearances. We're talking about a really good cornerback here, in my opinion. Um, a guy that just is good at breaking up passes, right? Very solid tackler. Um, it's just hard, right? It's like, uh, I think if Sauce Gardner continues to make these all pro appearances, we're gonna forget about the price that was paid for him. We're gonna
Sure.
forget about the 2 first round picks that were paid for him so long as he continues to produce.
Mhm.
It's a big gamble on the Colts' part. I think, like you were saying, Dylan, the Colts weren't necessarily expecting to be in this position. but now they are. And with the state of the AFC, where it seems like a lot of these teams, like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Steelers, they look beatable. The AFC looks like it's anyone's. And if I'm the Colts, right, and we're playing as well as we are, we're getting the results that we are, and if we know that what we need is a cornerback, like if that's like our position that we're looking for to kind of like complete our team, complete our defense, and there's a guy, a two-time All-Pro cornerback in his fourth season in the league, yeah, yeah, I'll go get that guy.
For
Two
sure.
first round picks, maybe it's hefty, yeah, it's a lot to give up, but when would I maybe ever have a better chance with this current group of guys to go take a Super Bowl?
Yeah. Well, quickly to end off the Jets talk, I'm gonna be divisive. I'm gonna say, I think Sauce Gardner's a diva. I hate divas. I don't like cornerbacks. I think they're they're iffy year to year. And anyone that maybe to my JJK fans in the audience, when you're trying to feed your agenda, right? Like say whether it be fraud Kuna or Yuda's a fraud. Um, when I was watching fucking Sauce slip and slide all over the field against the Steelers, oh my god, my agenda was it could not have been stronger than in Week 9 against the Steelers. Oh, it made me jump with joy. Um, but that'll end off Jets talk. Quickly, we'll just circle back to the Hateful Eight. Talk about the John Mick trade.
Hang on, sorry, before we move on, gotta shout out my boy Jalen Phillips, who we just fleeced the Dolphins for. I don't know
Truth.
what the fuck I don't know what the fuck Kai Roseman does, but like after watching that game, I genuinely was like, do they sell Howie Roseman jerseys? Because like I'll buy one. Like
Just like he
like
works devil magic.
It's
Like
like I,
insane.
I
like
don't I don't know what the
Jalen
fuck.
Phillips was worth those two first round picks.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
and
I
there's
think we
there's a
gave up like a
reason.
third rounder for him. I
There's a
think.
reason why during that game they put up Howie Roseman's stat line. they,
Yeah,
they were like 98 trades made since 2016. Like that is the like toughest shit of all time, bro. They
yeah.
give this man his
They were
ring. Holy
They were
shit.
they were like after whiffing on not drafting Justin Jefferson, he hasn't missed since.
It's so dumb.
And it's like, yeah. So shout out to Jalen Phillips. Also shout out to Jair Alexander. He has reportedly stepped away from football for mental reasons, which like you can hate on all you want, but I mean, again, a player just
Uh,
lost his life,
yeah,
so
yeah. Life
that
life becomes
Yeah,
life
life is
life
more
becomes
life
important.
first
life
almost
is
always.
life is bigger than your job, even if your job is being a professional football player. So shout out to Big
Yeah,
Bro. Hope
sure.
hope he's doing all right. But yeah, sorry, we can move on to fantasy talk now.
Yeah. So John, Mick, trade, Mick. Obviously, you are a key part of this. So take it away.
Look, there's not a lot to say other than like I've I've just been sad after that trade. Like, uh,
He's gonna have to step away from the hate plate.
yeah. Look, I still don't. I'm still not quite ready to say I regret it, but boy, am I close. Yeah, Garrett Wilson just like truly hasn't played, which is just frustrating. Again, we talked about it earlier. I think the Jets rushed him back, and I'm really not super thrilled for that. But also, that's on me. That's on me as a GM. I gotta be tapped in. I gotta be checking on my guys. I gotta be talking to them, seeing how they're feeling,
Yeah,
and
got to be in the locker room.
it just yeah, it just seemed like me and Garrett were not on the same page there. So he'll be chilling on my IR until he gets healthy. And I will have to make do with wide receivers until then. I've honestly been happy with DeAndre Swift. He's the exact player that I wanted. It's just kind of unfortunate that it's like because of everything that's happened with my wide receivers, it's like, well, if this guy was supposed to be my RB3, that's cool, but it's like I don't have a wide receiver 2 right now. Because of health and various things. So I like Swift. Happy to have him on the team. He's a good solid guy that'll put up good solid numbers each week. And look, from John's perspective, we still have really yet to see what George Pickens is going to do for him moving forward.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know who George Pickens is, right? He's been a great receiver all season. Um, I talked about it when the trade happened, but my main logic for moving on from him was I already have Javonte Williams and CeeDee Lamb on my team. I was a bit worried as the season was going on about this kind of splitting targets between the two of them. It's been done before. It was just more of a personal preference on wanting to try some different guys and maybe hope for a higher ceiling as opposed to a lower floor. I think George Pickens is going to raise John's floor astronomically as the season goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so we'll kind of just have to keep an eye on him, see how he does. A guy that we can't talk a little bit about is Roma Dunze, who went from 0 points 1 week to I think a solid like 16 or so the next.
20.
20,
20
thank you.
points.
That's right. Good number. And look, I like Rome. That was the hardest part of the trade for me was giving up Roma Dunze. I wanted him to stick around on the roster if I'm being honest. Um, I uh I still do not trust Caleb Williams despite that 38-point performance because well the next week he certainly didn't do that. Um it's just yeah, it's a Roma Dunze is a really good football player. And he's a really good playmaker and I think so long as he is healthy and everything, he is worth a start on John's team. Obviously, he had this one week of 0 points. He's had a couple of these fluky weeks throughout the year, which have maybe made me question him a little bit. But he was a consistent part of my team, and I think he'll be a consistent part of John's team going forward.
Well, I think that was a wonderful analysis. I wanted to just I think you hit the nail on the head where we are only 2 weeks in. I don't know if there's much we can like talk about when analyzing the trade yet. But just quickly, if you have, I know there's a lot of haters in the league. If you have anything to quickly say to maybe the Enzos of the world, what do you have to say to the
Absolutely.
haters?
Look. It's well documented how scared Enzo was to play me heading into this week.
Yeah, yeah.
He was quivering in his boots at the thought of facing the mighty 203 points of Where's the Lamb Sauce.
Yeah.
And look, not a single guy on my team came to play that week. Let's just say it how it is. It was bad. Locker room wasn't tuned in. Guys weren't ready. Um, but all I want to say is moving forward, still third in points forwarded, still sitting nice and pretty in that 3 seed when I was just the 1 seed week previously. And a snap of my fingers, Enzo, I'm coming for that 1 seed again.
That's beautiful. I will say, I mean, it would take both of you guys to get to the championship to see a rematch this season, which would be cinema.
Oh
That would be cinema. I gotta admit.
gosh. Oh, that would be beautiful if I am so lucky to get the chance to see a fellow good GM in the finals.
Um, let's see.
And really quick though, one final fantasy trade I want to touch on. Well, throw it to Brandon real quick. Brandon, you kind of have made the most recent trade, and what might go down as perhaps the final trade of the season. As this is deadline week. This is it.
Yeah.
So I just want to hear about the trade from your perspective.
I also threw something over to John today. Obviously, it wasn't completely one sided, so he said no. But yeah. So Enzo texts me, and Enzo doesn't really text me. We had talked in previous weeks about a trade. I don't remember what exactly it was, but he wanted Waddle. Ironically, he wanted Waddle for Travion Henderson, who was on my team not too long ago. For those of you who remember, and what's
I
his
can
name,
wait for
Chase
that.
Brown, and so the thought process there is, I'm kind of rocking. First of all, this team is totally fucked. There's no mincing words about that. But if I want to like salvage, this is more so for personal pride, trying to salvage like a couple more wins before I like pitifully like end my horrible season.
You still got a toilet
So
bowl to fight in.
True.
that's true. I got a toilet bowl to win, mind you. So I've probably got
True.
one more week out of Vidal before or Marion comes back. So I figured like I gotta get a replacement for this guy. My you know my main flex pieces right now is kind of this rotating like smorgasbord of Ty J Spears, Trey Tucker, Kyle Pitts is on my team for some fucking reason.
Go.
So I was like, uh, let me get a couple more consistent pieces before all's said and done. Um, so actually, while we're on the subject, let me go ahead and slap Travion in there. I don't think.
No way, bro is actively changing.
live roster updates.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. Fucking Cortland Sutton. Oh yeah, speaking of trades, sorry, that's really all I would say about that. I think this is more so just kind of me needing to flesh out my roster. Shout out to Jalen Waddle. I mean that's a guy I kind of picked up who, like, my draft strategy was I was drafting for trade capital at the end. I didn't expect my my like first overall trade piece to end up being my fucking wide receiver one. But here we are. So hats off to him for making the best of a shitty situation. He's got to deal with Tua, who's terrible at football. So wishing him nothing but the best with the current one seed. I'm rocking with my guy back on the squad, Travion, who started doing well immediately after I dropped him. Um, and Yeah, sorry. One more trade I wanted to touch on before all said and done is the first trade I did this season between me and Alec, where we traded like a bunch of like wide receiver twos and running back twos who all immediately like started playing like complete dog shit. It was Jordan Mason and like I don't remember someone else. Oh, it was Jordan Mason and current Jags legend Jacoby Myers for
Go.
Tony Pollard, who didn't start on my team a single time, and Cortland Sutton, who's been anything but consistent.
Oh my
So
gosh, I forgot about that trade.
yeah,
Wow.
those
That
those
is
guys
cinema.
are white ass.
Yeah, that is
Um,
a trade of all time.
yeah, it was basically a nothing burger. But Nick, you wanna kind of get us into the end of towards the end of the episode, quickly do our Giants check in.
Oh yeah, oh boy, do we have a lot to get to with the Giants, but we'll not dive into the bowels this week. We'll start with the big headline about the Giants over the past 2 weeks, which is that head coach Brian Daboll has been fired.
Let's
Uh, they-
go.
yeah, it's it was truthfully overdue. Uh, we all kind of got baited by his first season, this 2022 season with Daniel Jones, and starting off the season 6-2. 2022 is the only season the Giants haven't started with 2 or less wins, uh, in the past 9 years.
Insane.
We had one season where we didn't start with 2 wins. It was 2022, Daboll's first year. Starts off 6-2, gets us to the playoffs, and then he's just been horrible since then. Um, Past 3 seasons, he's been 11-33. For those of you doing the math at home, that is a win percentage of 0.25%. Uh, yeah, we win one out of, like, it doesn't even feel like we were winning one out of every 4 games with Daboll. Like, it felt
No,
worse
not
than
at
that.
all.
And so I think that truly boils down to the reason why he got fired. He was a loser. Like, he didn't know how to win football games. Like, there were
Diabolical.
so so many meltdowns at the end of games.
Yeah.
Like truly spectacular meltdowns that like most teams have like one of those losses and they remember those. We have game after game after game after fourth quarter meltdowns.
I want to quickly like talk about this because so something that pissed me off with this Daboll firing was I was seeing content from the same people on Instagram making fun of Daboll and joking about how he throws away in every game in the fourth quarter, making content like the next day being like, oh my god, like trying to like gaslight people into saying that Daboll firing Daboll was in a good idea. Like, are we being
Yeah,
dead ass? They're hitting the classic like one liners of like, don't fire a coach that a QB seems to like, or is it, I promise you, Brian Daboll is not the reason that Jackson Dart is showing out. That is not the
absolutely.
reason.
Genuinely, dude, genuinely, the three worst things in football right now are like Instagram grifters who make content like that, any and all football media, and I like all of it. All the media is
Except
completely
for Hateful Eight
horrible,
Radio.
except for Hateful Eight Radio. You guys should only tune into this podcast.
Truth.
And three, and probably worst of all, is the fucking gambling. Holy shit.
True.
Like
Hey man,
the gambling has gotten completely horrible, and I might get killed by like a contra death squad for saying this because of how much of an influence Vegas has now. But I'm gonna be brave and say like it's too much. It's too much.
yeah.
And the grifters I was
So
just talking about are all bought out by these random fucking like books that like I've never heard of before. And I'm like, get the fuck out of my face, dude. You don't know ball. And you don't know ball. Your content fucking sucks, and you're bought out by gambling sports books, dude. Like, please
Yeah,
die.
no, dude, it
yeah,
kills
Sorry.
me. Like, no,
beautiful.
honestly, I'm down to like this shit pisses me off. It's the shit. It obviously, I mean, like the stuff that happened in the MLB the other day or week or whatever. The shit that has been happening constantly in the NBA with like clear fraud and players betting, and it just ruins the game. There is like such a lack of fucking like um I don't know, integrity that it's just like it ruins like the fan experience. So I don't know. I hope this is
No, absolutely. I like truly could not agree more with what you guys are saying. Yeah, could like truly have nothing to add because I think you guys have hit the nail on the head.
yeah
But what I can talk about is Brian Dable ruining my fan experience. Uh, just a couple other little things that I saw. I saw a post that talked about this Brian Dable firing, right? I'm just gonna touch on this really quick before we move on to talking about a few potential head coaching candidates. Um, right, so I already mentioned the fact that Brian Dable went 11-33 over the past 3 seasons. Shout out Bobby Skinner and Giants Nation show. That's my guy. It's like my favorite Giants guy. Love the way he talks about the game. He's like a depressed Giants fan, just like me. And he brought up a couple points that I thought were very interesting. Um, Brian Dable, during his tenure as head coach, again, not a long tenure, 4 seasons, fired 2 out of his 3 coordinators. During that time, he also flip flop play calling with his offensive coordinator because he kept trusting offensive coordinators who would make bad play calls that he would take over the reins and then would blow games. He replaced 5 out of 9 of his position coaches again in just 4 seasons. He also um sorry, what was the last that I had? Um, started 7 in 4 years. Started 7 different quarterbacks and didn't have a single record with any winning record with any of them.
insane.
None of them. Not even Tyrod Taylor. Not even like he couldn't manage to get wins with anybody. So to those people, I've seen them too, Dylan, that are like trying to like apologize for Dable and being like, oh, clearly he's got something in Dart. It wasn't Dable. And really quick before I move on, as much as I'm shitting on him, hey, I actually do like Dable as a guy. I think it's a cool guy. I think he couldn't handle the New York media. I think he couldn't handle being a head coach in New York. Hope he gets a chance somewhere else. I think it seems clear enough that he's an offensive coordinator and maybe not a head coach. But I'm sure he'll land on his feet somewhere. But at the same time, good riddance, and also fire Shane Bowen and Joe Schoen. Um, Moving on, I wanted to bring up really quick just the current odds for Giants head coaches, because that's frankly where we're at right now. We got to start talking about who's the next guy up.
Like,
Um,
are you gonna run us through the top three? What do we
I'll,
have right now?
I'll give you I'll start off really quick by talking about Mike Kafka, interim guy. I'll talk about then the I'll talk a little bit more in depth about kind of the two leading guys right now. And I just throw out a couple names to mull over. Um, let's do really quick touch on Mike Kafka. Mike Kafka is Daboll's guy, right? This is the guy that Daboll wanted to be his offensive coordinator. Um, Again, there's kind of been this like flip flop thing with Kafka this year on who's exactly calling the plays. It seems like now Kafka's really taken over as the play caller. Kafka's brought in an offensive coordinator, which like as he should. I don't know if he's gonna be calling the plays or if he's gonna be passing it off to this interim offensive coordinator to do the plays. Um, Look, I'm not a huge fan of our play calling this year. I don't know if that reflects on Kafka. Um, I I he's interim. If he finds a way to make this team look decent moving forward, I wouldn't hate him sticking around. I think that's a big if. He's got he's got a couple games to show us something. I don't think he really needs to like go on some crazy win streak or anything because we just don't have a roster that's talented enough to do that. But if he makes some of the right decisions, that'd be pretty cool. The current leading odds guy is Mike McCarthy. I have talked about Mike McCarthy previously. Um, I think he's a guy that could kind of act as a stop guy, as a glue guy, to just stop us losing football games. I don't think he's a permanent solution moving forward. A guy that I think really could be a permanent solution moving forward, and who's currently second in odds is the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak.
Well, him.
Seattle's offense has gotten rightfully a lot of praise this year. Because like if we're being honest, I don't think the Seattle offense has a ton of talent on the roster. It's fine. But I think it's the scheme. It's their offensive scheme that's going really well. This running back by committee that just seems to be working for them. This next guy up element to their wide receivers and their tight ends. Like it's like just the way that Dylan, I don't know if you're saying as you have Jackson Smith and Njigba on your team.
Go.
I don't know if you're like watching him a lot, but the way that Kubiak schemes the offense to get him open is really good. Like he's really good at it, despite JSN being the focal point of the offense. He's really good at drawing your attention away from him, despite him being the number one guy.
Yeah.
For Giants, that would be so awesome if we were somehow able to alleviate the pressure off of Malik Neighbors next season,
Mhm.
and just not defenses constantly going at him. It would just be really nice to have a guy that understands having a star player and what it takes to kind of again alleviate the pressure. Just a few more names I'm gonna throw out before I'm gonna like open the board to any thoughts. Um, Steve Spagnuolo's name's been thrown around. He was interim for us. Not a fan. Um, there's the idea of going with like a defensive guy, i.e. Lou Anarumo, current Colts DC. Again, Colts have a good defense. I'm personally a fan. I don't know what the Giants would look like with a defensive guy at head coach because it hasn't worked with us in the past. Maybe this could change. Similarly, again, another defensive guy, but a guy with Giants pedigree, Antonio Pierce. His stint with the Raiders didn't work, didn't go to plan. I don't know if that's a reflection on him or the state of the Raiders and the roster at their time, But again, just a guy that knows the Giants and has the pedigree would be really cool to bring in. If we're thinking defense, we're also thinking of names like Robert Sala and uh, I had another one, but I forget it. And finally, the like last two names I want to mention as complete wild cards that I have very different opinions on. Lane Kiffin, who was Jackson Dart's head coach at Ole Miss. Um, I truly do not know how he would do in the NFL,
I love
but
that.
as a guy that just right, he was the guy that kind of developed Dart in college. It's like I don't hate that idea. And then the last name that I've heard I've heard two names thrown around a little bit that if any of them get close to my team, I would genuinely quit being a fan of, and that is John Gruden and Bill Belichick. So really quickly, I just want to open the floor to you guys, see if you have any thoughts.
Quickly, I mean, my thoughts. I like Clint Kubiak over Mike McCarthy. I hate. I don't know. I I 100% see the importance of just getting the locker room back and getting like just getting a winning mentality in the franchise going again. But and maybe this is just 'cause I'm like a fucking lame ass nerdy STEM major, but like when I love a an X's and O's guy. I love someone who can scheme up bigger offense. I love it. It's like when you look at what Sean like of someone like Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan can do. Someone who is that well versed in the X's and O's at the head coach position, where you're not worried about like play calling changing from year to year because you know that you have that guy as your head coach. That's so big. Um, and so like my personal take is I would always I like would swing for the stars and go for that guy. But I do completely see the importance of getting that locker room guy, and I think it's important at the end of the day that like when you're interviewing Clint for the job, you gotta be like, hey man, like you gotta figure out, do you really think this guy's a locker room guy as well? That's my thoughts. Ben, if you have any before we move on.
I don't really have anything besides John Gruden fucking sucks,
Truth.
and you guys need a new GM. Honestly, more urgently than you need a new head coach. So that's actually where the conversation would go for me. But I don't really have a whole lot to contribute again because I don't honestly just because I have a limited knowledge of other teams' coaches who aren't directly related to Philadelphia. So um
Yeah, well,
I
yeah,
think
that's enough
sorry, go
about
ahead.
the Giants. Yeah, oh, I was gonna say that is way too much talk about the shitty ass Giants.
Way too
I think
Yeah.
there's way more interesting things to talk about.
So I'm gonna roll our last two segments kind of into each other here because they are sort of related. So during the week, I thought it would be funny to draw up the funniest chaos scenario that I could think of. So I pulled out Google Sheets. I wrote down objectively funny. Will gets the first overall seed and a bye. John misses the playoffs. Mick misses the playoffs as well, and I make the playoffs. This was the question that really, opened up the floor for me. But I decided to add the extra stuff in there for flair. And let me tell you, it it's kind of a stretch. A lot of things have to happen. So the first interesting thing is if all this were to happen, there would be five teams tied at 8-6 and five teams tied at 6-8, which means
insane.
It's
which means
amazing.
which means I would be fighting for the sixth seed by having the highest points for. So I have to have more points than Alex, Mick, Carson, and John, who all probably lead me by about 150 at the minimum. So basically, what I'm saying is it's very unlikely I make the playoffs this season. But we can talk about the final theoretical picture here in a second. I just wanted to go over some key games here.
I
So
love that.
first of all, in week 12, I have to upset Mick, and then or excuse me, I have to upset Enzo, and then Enzo has to lose all of his other games besides Carson because he needs to beat Carson so Carson misses the playoffs. Mick needs to lose out and also lose to Carson twice. Carson, who has zero consistency in
Who
his
I've never
team.
lost to in this league, by the way.
Yeah. Carson needs to somehow pull 2 wins in 4 weeks out of his ass against Mick, who has a pretty good team. And then also lose his other games. So Carson has to go 2-2 over the next 4 weeks and only beat Mick.
Is this
Um,
scenario real quick? Is this a scenario where John misses the playoffs because you're in?
yes,
Oh, that's
yes, it
awesome.
is. John theoretically, I was like, John just has the 10th seed in this instance. John himself has to lose out, but he has to beat Dylan in rivalry week in week 14 in order for Will to get the first overall seed. As Will would be tied with Dylan, Will would also have to have a higher points for than Dylan, which again means he needs to score an extra 200 points. A lot of stuff happens in week 12 actually. So Alex and Carson week 12 game is the deciding factor that keeps me in the playoff picture. um, Alex has to beat Carson in week 12 to put both of them at 5 and 7.
But also
This just has
can't put up too many points.
Yeah, but also can't put up too many points. This just has to happen. Alec goes 2-2 and loses to Will twice, including in rivalry week. And then Audie needs to make the playoffs in order to make sure Will gets the 1 seed, but also lose to Alec so Alec gets the 1. Oh yeah, I also said what if Alec made the first seed? That would also be funny. So Will and Alec. So if all of that happens, Will gets a first round bye. Alec gets a first round bye. The final picture, week 1, it would be Will with a bye, Enzo versus Dylan at the 4 and 5 seed respectively. Which
Insane.
cinema. 8-6
Oh my
Dylan would have
gosh.
the 5 seed. On the other side of the bracket, it would be 2 seed Alex versus the bye, and then 3 seed Audie versus 6 seed somehow Magaquan Barkley at 6 and 8. So yeah, I don't know if you
Cinema.
guys have any thoughts on that,
I
but
mean, my
That's
only
just truly beautiful, Brandon.
yeah, I'm literally hitting the Martin Scorsese because I I'm genuinely sitting here thinking about collusion to ensure that John gets the 10 seed
yeah,
after starting in the league at the 1 seed in the Hateful North. What a
And
beautiful
then going on an
scenario.
8-game losing streak to end the season.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, Nick has to lose out. I have to win out.
Yeah,
Will
I have
has
to
to
lose
win.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Um,
awesome. And if me losing out means that scenario has happened, you have my blessing.
Literally, bro.
so
I'm literally sitting here bro, if unironically, if the rest of the situation happens and it comes down and it goes down it's 50-50 week 14 and I need to lose to John, I'm not saying that I wouldn't purposely fuck that up.
What a throw.
Oh,
okay, so
beautiful.
all that out of the way, and I have all this written down. So if you ever want to revisit it, I'll let you guys know. This will likely all end after I lose against Alex this coming week. But so I'll do the week 11 preview with what has to happen to begin the chaos scenario. So we got Dylan versus Enzo. Dylan needs to win this. We got Mick versus Carson. Obviously, Mick has to lose out, so Mick needs to lose. Alex plays me. I have to win out, so Alex has to lose. Will plays Audie again. Will needs to win out, so Will would beat Audie. And John, I think the only there's not that would be me versus Alex is the only hateful South matchup that week, and the only hateful North against hateful North matchup would be Alec versus John. And again, John needs to mostly lose out in order to miss the playoffs. So Alec would have to win that game. Major upsets would be me winning any games. Um, I'd say Carson would be a slight upset. Dylan versus Enzo should be pretty cinema. This is honestly going to be a pretty tight week again, with the exception of me versus Alex. I anticipate that one not going my way. But yeah, I would say, in all fairness, with what's probably going to happen, is this Dylan versus Enzo match is going to be pretty big one for overall seeding.
Yeah.
And also just like John's a team to watch out for, because again, he's completely on a backslide right now. Needs a pretty big win to right the ship here against Alec. But if Alec wins, I think he goes to 7-4, which is, Alex having a sneaky good season after his goofy ass drafts all those weeks ago. So Alex sleeper first round exit, in my opinion.
I think Alec is a sleeper dog shit team. I think he is terrible. I think he is worse than Brandon's team. I think I am so it is you look at his team and truly it's only Josh Allen and Jonathan Taylor and no one else. Like, and
Uh,
Jonathan Taylor's on bye. Dude is completely fried.
Yeah, John, you got to win this week, bro. Like,
If
right, this is
John
this is
finds a
on
way.
paper. Yeah, on paper, this is coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb. So, if you don't win, you're genuinely getting clowned, bro.
Yeah. Like I'm certainly not hating on our one of our what you call it rookie franchises, and I would love to see more success come Alex's way, but I think a lot needs to happen for that to occur. So I don't know, Alex, you gotta I don't know what you do, but you gotta look long and hard at this team. Um,
yeah. I'm really hoping to see our other rookie franchise will hopefully move to 5-6. Like that would look really good for him. And I think he's good enough, and I think his team is capable enough to like be be worthy of a playoff spot, honestly. So we'll see. We always say with Holiday's team, that team just finds a way.
yeah,
So it's it's a a heavyweight, you know, big time matchup between the two of them to see, I think who's gonna blank between Will and Audie's team. Which direction are both of those teams heading in?
yeah,
Yeah, week 11 and week 12 are actually pretty decisive. From what I saw, just like drawing up the this chaos scenario, is I sincerely doubt anything is going to be truly like, I don't think week 14 is necessarily going to eliminate or decide playoff spots. Um, Besides, like Will might be clawing his way in. Alec might be fighting to that it's probably going to be Alec Will is the one to watch out for, and then other than that, it's going to be probably just seeding. But I'd say definitely week 12, big turning point. You definitely shoot to win your game in week 12. Give yourself some breathing room and kind of sneak into the playoffs down the stretch.
yeah,
Absolutely, and really quick, just to we've given the little preview in sleeper, couple of awesome NFL games coming up this week. Main ones I want to highlight are 6-3 versus 6-3 Bucks and Bills. That's a potential like AFC playoff matchup. You've got the matchup between division teammates, Seahawks and Rams, both at 7-2. That could potentially decide the 1 seed for the NFC. Both of those teams look excellent, and it's kind of unfortunate that one of them is going to get stuck in the wild card. It seems like, and so this matchup is going to go a long way to determining, I think, who gets the bye from this conference and who gets the wild card spot. And finally, Sunday Night Football, Lions Eagles. Brandon, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Lions are, you know, they're a high flying offense. But again, this is the it seems like everyone's kind of settled in. The Vic Fangio defense with Jalen Phillips is clicking. Hopefully Patullo remembers to call plays after the initial script. because watching that game against the Packers, it was like, I don't know, like I know enough ball, enough offensive scheming now to be like, okay, like this is fine as like an opening drive, but we can't call like slot receiver options like sit over the middle of the field and out routes for an entire game, especially when fucking Jalen Hurts decides to fumble it right before scoring a touchdown. So yeah, definitely some stuff to look at there. But I'd say if Eagles Packers was a low scoring 10-7 affair, I would not be surprised if Lions Eagles was more of a shootout. I would hope. Should be a fun Sunday night football game.
Absolutely. I'm looking for fireworks in that game, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about the absolute cinema game that's going to be Jags Chargers, but by the way, I think the Jaguars are on a complete backslide, and I think the Chargers offense is going to shit on my fucking defense. That's you'd be don't need to listen to my depression talk about the Jaguars.
Dude,
Um,
I hope you guys absolutely wax the Chargers, genuinely.
dude,
Like,
me too, buddy. I have been so depressed about our team as of recent, but um, I don't know. Penalties kill us every week. Um, our defense fell apart last week against the Texans. This Chargers team seems to do wonderfully, like finding the open space in the zone, which I think is going to slaughter our defense. Unless we make some changes. So, um, I don't know. I have a lot of faith in my head coach. But that game, I'm going to be really sad until we win. Um, but quickly, want to wish everyone uh, great luck in week 11. Enzo, you can suck my dick. Um, and if we have any more ending comments, I think that's where we're going to leave it off tonight.
go Birds, get your trades in.
Go Birds. Well, cry Birds, get your trades in.
Let's if you're looking for potentially some fun viewing this week, 1 p.m. Jameis Winston.
6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. All right, let's go. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see y'all next week.